Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Paranormal New Normal. Your host, Jeremy, as always, trying to make the world seem a little more normal. Does it ever happen? Freak, no, it's not happening today either. Get your mind off it. Because today, I'm bringing something back I haven't done in a while because, as most of you know, I'm going on a hiatus in about a month and a half or so. Actually, yeah, a month and a half. But I need some special episodes to fill my day I release bonus episodes, and this is the start of me bringing back my one-on-one brackets. So I decided to send out an open invite to all my other podcasting friends to see who would like to join me. And of course, the first topic to get picked by a lot of people was this one. So I can see why, though. And that's right, we're tackling the conspiracy theories bracket again. It's a dreaded bracket for people because it's choices, choices, choices. And it's what you believe, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Let me introduce the first victim of this bracket. From Today We Laughed and Learned podcasts, someone I've wanted to work with for a long time but haven't got the chance to. Welcome, Kristine, everybody.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we've been trying for, God, it's got to be close to a year now to set this up, hasn't it?
So,
It,
set something up. Whether it was going to be a. Oh yeah, it was this bracket we tried to set up a long time ago. You're right. I saw the
it
message
was.
and I was like, I forgot all about it. I saw the message and I was like, oh yeah, we were trying to set something at one point.
I know. Well, and to boot, our time difference is a bit of an issue too. We're about 7 hours apart, so we have to juggle that too. But no, we finally did it. I'm excited. I love conspiracy theories.
Yes, and now Christine's gonna get to choose between 34 of them, which is choices, 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 as I said, and
Listen,
she's
I got
prepared,
my
folks. And
notes. I'm ready. I'll be honest. Some of these I really didn't know too much about. Some I had to ask the kids about. But I think I got a good idea on some of them.
but that's right, folks. It's gonna be 34 different conspiracy theories. Some of them a little bit out there, as we all know, and some of them, well,
Are
basically
they?
almost
Are they
some
really?
well, some of them are out there. Even some of them I have a hard time believing in, but a lot of them are very easy to believe in, and some of them have been proven true almost. So
Mhm.
let's see what happens. And Paul, thank you for looking forward to this. Hope you get to check it
Hey,
out.
Paul.
Loved you in that one episode of Ted, by the way, Paul. I gotta say.
Ted the Hillbilly?
Well, Ted the talking teddy bear with a dirty mouth, but
Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry. I was thinking podcast. Of
No,
course,
no,
Ted. What am I kidding? Yeah.
no. He actually had a guest spot on episode of Ted on Peacock. So it
Oh,
was.
I'm in Greece, so we don't get Peacock. Sorry.
Oh, well, when you come back to the States for vacation, you gotta check it out. But
That I
it's a
will.
quick 10 episode watch. So,
Okay.
but yeah, Paul happened to announce that he was going to be on an episode of it in one of the podcast groups I'm in, and I was looking out for him. And then the episode he was in was freaking hilarious. So his line's hilarious. So,
I will look for it
um,
then.
and Harley, thank you for watching as always. But let's get this show on the road, folks, because
All right.
this first matchup. Yeah, I mean, like I said, people always ask me how they should vote in these, and I say however you want. I don't want to dictate. That's going to ruin it if I dictate how you vote. So you vote whichever way you want. Most believability, most crazy, whichever way you want to vote. That's how we do this. And the first
I
one's a good example of that.
Yeah, well, I think this is what I'm going to go for. I think the idea is like what I find to be the most believable, or I believe the most, it will be my number one. So,
It tends to be the way people go with this one. But
yeah. Yeah.
well, the first matchup is between the Montauk Project
Okay.
and Denver Airport.
Oh, okay. All right. So the Montauk Project, I didn't know too much about. So I had heard something about it, but I kind of forgot about it. So this is about it's a series of projects that the government was putting out um over at Camp Hero or the Montauk Air Force Base. Is this the one? And in the end, somebody wrote a book about it. And in the beginning of the book, it said whether you read this as science fiction or whether you read this as something true, you decide. Um, so do I think that the government was conducting psychological warfare experiments? Yes, I do. Now, do I believe that what these gentlemen wrote about the Montauk Project? I'm a little skeptical. But then we have the Denver airport. Do you know anything about the Denver airport?
Oh God, I know a lot about the Denver airport. I've heard, and it's creepy. It's creepy. I never flown out of Denver, but I actually have had people on this podcast who have, and they say there is a air of mystery around like the whole place, and there's a lot of doors that don't seem to go anywhere. But
Well, I looked it up because my podcast, Today We Laughed and Learned, although we are on hiatus and probably ending it because my co-host can't do it anymore. But anyway, my thing is to look things up. So I didn't know about the Denver airport. So for anybody out there who does not know about it, it was it was a brand new airport they built back in the 80s. It went $2 billion, $2 billion, that's with a B, over budget.
yeah,
And it was about 2 years behind schedule. And nobody knows why they built it because Denver had a perfectly good functioning airport. And now it's
exactly.
the largest airport in the Western Hemisphere. And they have this giant, massive underground tunnel system, which they said was for baggage. They don't use it for baggage, by the way. But they said
Yeah.
it was going to be a baggage system. So most people believe that it was built for doomsday preparation. And they think that because evidently the artwork in the Denver airport is really creepy artwork. Have you looked it up at all? There's
I haven't actually looked that part up. I've heard about there are statues that tend to have a little reptilian influence in them, I've heard, but
Oh, I didn't even hear that one. I read about the mural, like, what was it called? Children of World Dream Peace. It has a soldier wielding this bayoneted machine gun and a sword, and all these children are cowering in the corner. Not exactly your basic airport kind of artwork. And then they have this giant 32-foot fiberglass horse outside called Lucifer. And he weighs like 9,000 pounds, not to mention his red glowing eyes. And the fact that a piece of fiberglass actually fell off this horse, severed the artery of the artist, and killed him because he bled out. And they kept the horse. And they say like the runway makes swastikas, symbols, and there is a time capsule that's buried over there. But the writing on the granite stone talks about this group that doesn't actually exist called the New World Airport Commission, and this group doesn't exist, but yet it's on this time capsule. So what I understand is it's very close to a giant government base, army base or whatever.
well, there are, just to point out one or two things that you didn't mention that I have heard.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the whole airport is built on a Native American burial ground, and there was so much spirit activity when they first built it that they have playing 24/7 in the background that you could barely hear it because the airport's always got people noise going on,
Mhm.
but they have Native American music playing in the background to quell the spirits and make them quieter.
Seriously?
Yep.
I have not heard that.
And
Wow.
that's when people who have worked there have come out and told other people about that as well. I can't say I've got any of them on my show, but there's been people on there out there that have said that. And there is, I mean, it's the Illuminati, which we'll also talk about later in this, has also been brought up with this airport a lot, as well as the New World Order. And
Well,
it's basically reptilian. It's underground tunnels are supposed to be our reptilian base. I mean, they throw basically any group they can into this airport because it's just so
I hadn't heard the
creepy.
reptilian one. Um, yeah, I really think a lot of this is a lot of government things.
It
So
is, yeah.
with all of that, between the two, I believe in conspiracy theory thoughts. I think the Montauk Project has some strength to it, but the actual story behind it, I don't believe those guys who wrote the book, um, claiming that they were involved in the teleportations and the mind control and the contacts with the extraterrestrials. I think they were faking it. So I guess I believe Denver Airport more. So we cross out
Alright.
Montauk Project. What about you? What do you think?
I mean, for Montauk Project, I'll say this. Montauk Project is one of two conspiracies in this bracket that Stranger Things is based off of.
Okay.
So, I I like the montage project for that, and there is a lot of government history of them trying to master mind control and teleportation and all these
I
things that
agree with you on that.
because
1000% I agree on that.
Russia was trying to do the same thing during the Cold War.
Mhm.
And so the United States jumped right in the bandwagon and said, "Oh, they're doing it, we gotta do it." And I mean, we'll get to another conspiracy a few matches down that's much more likely to be the one that actually is where all that happened.
Exactly.
But
I did find, Jeremy, that a lot of these kinda crossed over each other, so it was kinda hard to
everything in the paranormal tends to cross over the other topics. It's just the way it goes. I mean, it's all related because I mean
Yeah.
the paranormal just basically is a field of life, but it all relates in somehow. And Denver Airport has always been a popular one in this bracket for people to pick, and I can see why. I mean, it's one of those things that makes no sense, and that's the scary
Yeah.
part. Is because why would they do something that makes no sense to do unless they
In
had a
what
reason?
in what government or country or state would ever agree to $2 billion over budget? Not 2,000,000, 2 billion in 2 years
Um,
over. It just it reeks. It reeks. It's a
Yeah,
little freaky.
there's something fishy there, and
Yeah.
people can believe whatever they want to believe about it. I'm not here to tell people what to believe, but yeah, there's definitely something going on there, and I don't know enough about it to really have my own beliefs on it. I just know something's not right there, and kind of happy I haven't fallen out of it because I have
Now I
I've
wanna
heard
go.
I kind of do, but I would get too tempted to go try to find the underground tunnels, and I would get kidnapped by some secret organization and made their leader because I'm amazing. But I don't know.
Unless the Men
We'll
in
see.
Black come afterwards and they, try to erase your mind and all that.
Oh, of course. But well,
All right.
we're keeping it airline related in the next matchup though to see who Denver Airport's going to face in the next round.
Okay.
Because in a way, but it's Malaysia flight MH370 going against Skinwalker Ranch.
Hmm. I the problem is I believe it or not, I've yet to watch any documentaries on Skinwalker Ranch yet.
Oh,
So I don't know a ton about Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, Malaysia MH37 370, people claim the cell phones are still working. They say the debris, there's no debris, so it was an alien. Didn't they find something? Or they say
they found wreckage of a plane, whether it
of a
was
plane.
MH370. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, whether it's MH370, they never actually confirmed that, but they found wreckage of a plane in Thailand somewhere in the ocean.
Mm.
But I mean,
Which
it's
of course they're saying, the US and Thailand, they possibly could have shot it down and didn't say anything. Or a Chinese submarine shot it down. The thing is, if it's shot down, there'd be debris. I don't somehow, somewhere, something would wash up somewhere, right?
you would
And
think, you
yeah,
would think.
and there's another one that says North Korea hijacked it because there wasn't enough gas to get them to North Korea. Oh, I don't know. It is a very strange thing. Of course, Illuminati, they say. Uh,
Oh
and
yeah,
then can you tell me a little something about Skinwalker Ranch? I know it's cursed with like UFOs and shape
Skinwalker
change
Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch is a land out in
Utah.
Arizona, Utah.
Utah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Utah, but I want to say Arizona for some reason.
Yeah, everything's in
Yeah,
Utah.
it's a ranch out in Utah, basically, and it wasn't originally called Skinwalker Ranch when the original owners built it up, but
Mhm.
there started to be a lot of strange happenings on there. Di- Dire wolf-sized creatures coming up and trying to kill the cattle mutilations. There were UFO sightings, and for those who don't know, skinwalkers are a Native American Ute uh, curse,
Okay,
basically, where it's someone who does bad enough magic that or well, evil enough magic, I say, because magic. If you do magic
mhm.
bad, you're still not going to have this happen to you. But if you do enough evil magic,
Yeah.
you turn into one of these creatures who basically can morph into whatever they want to be, whether it be a wolf, or any animal. Basically, I've heard different experiences of skinwalk. People think that skinwalkers are every animal you could think of, including deer that can walk on 2 feet.
Yep.
But
Okay.
some some stories in there that will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. But basically, since then, Skinwalker Ranch has become a huge branch of activity for everything paranormal. There's a show on it now, Secret Skinwalker Ranch. It's very well done, and the fact that the government actually purchased this land back in the 90s to early 2000s, and then sold it to a rich guy who still owns it. And he's the rich guy's the one paying for all this experimentation to be done on the ranch now and to be have it televised. And
Mm.
they've caught some footage. They've caught some good footage of portals, of gateways, of UFOs. They've caught some good footage, and
Yeah,
it's almost like, how can anybody deny this stuff now? How can anybody deny they basically are catching it on camera?
I know.
And 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 the fact that the government keeps sending black helicopters over there while they're filming is just kind of,
Oh,
what's the government
okay.
what's the
All
government
right.
hiding?
All right. So that's what. So I think there's a conspiracy theory on both. There's no question. Um, I think in this case, because we actually, my kids and I saw some UFOs one night. We're pretty sure we saw
Ooh.
them. We were driving home, and we were driving. Uh, we would actually come back from Foxborough, and we were driving,
Oh.
and there was like two lights above, and we're all looking. We're driving and looking, going, "That's not normal." They were driving. They were like, "That's gotta be." And we weren't. It was so funny because we weren't like, we were like, "That's got to be UFOs." They don't look like lights. They don't look like
Mm,
airplanes, and it was just hovering with us. Going down
I mean,
Route 495.
four 495 goes along as a fellow Massel. 495 goes down a lot of UFO heavy territories,
It was
including where I live. But yeah,
well, it was probably from Wrentham to Bellingham. It was through that area.
yeah. I
But
mean, they tend to like the Northeast a lot, especially Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
mhm. Oh, New
UFOs seem to
Hampshire's
love
big.
that area.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It's you probably did see them. I wouldn't be surprised. My wife and kids swear they've seen them when we're driving up and down Route 2. So
Yep. There you go. We just know that that was not normal. So for conspiracy, I'm gonna go with Skinwalker Ranch. We'll knock out Malaysia, MH370. Although I do 100% believe there's something screwball behind it. There was something going on. Um,
I mean,
this is a tough way to. How do you rate this?
I mean, I rate it the fact that I mean, I would always go the same way always, but I would rate it that way because MH370, it's basically conspiracies that the government creates and conspiracies
Right.
that other things create that are even creepier. So I got to go with against things the government creates because we all know the government does shit they don't want us to know about. So
I
let's
know,
go
but
with the
yet it's
stuff that shouldn't exist.
right. Well, I think I think that's where this is conspiracy theory is a tough one to rate, to bracket, because it's so many different levels. It sounds neat until you try to break it up. Because yeah, I think definitely the government was behind it. In Skinwalker, I don't think the government's behind it. I think they're hiding it or trying to hide or trying to investigate it. So
I
although
think it's
both
powers. I
believable,
think it's
I like Skinwalker better.
yeah. I think it's something the government doesn't even know how to handle. I think it's something the
Right.
government it's something older than the government, and they don't know how to handle it. But
Yeah.
because God forbid Native Americans did anything before the government was here. But
Oh, please.
uh,
No.
that's good.
So
Not going off on that. I won't go off on that on my soapbox tangent of that one. But the next matchup is for some people this is an easy one, a very easy one. For other people, it's debatable. But the next matchup
well,
is
this is easy, and yet it's going to get knocked out in the next round. But go for
well,
it.
the next match up is flat Earth versus reptilians.
Okay. I will say that I listened to a documentary once on flat Earth, and I do hear things from time to time that make you go, "Huh? No, I don't believe it's a flat Earth." I myself, that's my belief, but there are times they make a decent argument for it. But I do know from what I understand, they say that there's no edges, that the Earth is just an infinite plane. Gravity is a hoax. I don't know if I got. NASA's made the whole thing up. It's because the question is, how does the water stay on Earth, or how do people not fall off if we're a big circle?
Oh. Gravity would be the answer to that, but
But no, that's a hoax. I'm sorry.
yeah, I've
Uh,
I've gone at a flat earther before for a good hour, so I've said my piece on how much I hate flat Earth, and it also debunks too many other conspiracies I believe in. So I can't go with flat Earth ever. But
no, I don't fall for the flat Earth. Like I said, sometimes they come up with something that make you go, what was there was something one time that they said on some documentary or something like, well, that's true. That makes you think about it. But all in all, I don't believe that we've decided to lie about the flat Earth. So, and as for reptilians, I can't. No, I don't believe in it at all. I'm sorry. You have a fight for that? You have
uh,
an argument for that?
uh,
You believe there's
as someone
cold-blooded
I've
humanoid
talked,
reptilians?
they are. I mean, I believe in extraterrestrials, and I highly believe that one of the types of animals that we know that
Mhm.
could survive in almost any environment are reptiles. And I feel that the reptilians, there's a lot of proof towards it. There's news
I'll
clips.
be honest, I probably don't know enough about it, but
Yeah.
from what I've heard, I will say that I don't go just like flat earth, I don't know enough about it to say, "Wow," there's a
Oh,
couple of points here and there, but reptilians, I really don't know mu I think it was when the kids came down screaming about how excited, "Oh my god, Justin Bieber's a reptilian," a few years back.
I could believe that. I could believe that. But reptilians basically, I've seen too many videos of newscasts and stuff where the anchor's eyes just happen to snap horizontally instead of vertically when they're blinking. So
Hi.
that's why am I getting the bunny? But yes, I mean that. Yeah, you probably got some food stuck to it. Go. But yes, I
Adorable little
believe
bunny. What's his name?
that's that is our mascot for all my podcasts called Snickers.
Hi, Snickers.
He's a reptilian as well. But
Adorable.
yeah, he's adorable, and my daughter's obsessed with him, and I get handed him every 5 seconds of my day. But
That's okay. You'll miss it one day.
I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, and there are a lot of famous politicians that people believe to be reptilians, as well as the fact that they supposed to be have a hidden underground city in Los Angeles that's made of gold. I don't know if I believe that part. That would be awesome, but I don't know
That
if I
would be
believe that part.
great.
But I mean, I'd like to get some of that gold personally. I
I
could use
know.
that money. But I don't know. To me, there's too much proof against a flat Earth. There's not enough
Yeah.
proof against flat reptilians in my mind. That's the way I look at conspiracies, is how much proof there against this thing being true. And flat Earth is, I'm not going off on that soapbox. I'm not. I'll be here for an hour. But yeah, there's too many other conspiracies I believe in fully that would debate that flat Earth is real. Reptilians to me are 100% real. I mean, I've been told there's a lot of different extraterrestrial species that whether you believe or not that they helped
Mhm.
start life on Earth. Reptilians were always the enemies, always one of the enemy races. So according to anybody that talks about this type of stuff, they are the enemy. So
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I have more belief in reptilians, but I'm also more delved into this world on a daily basis. So that's just my personal feelings on it. But this is your bracket. Which way
All
do
right.
you
Well,
want to
for
go?
my bracket, I'm going to put this. I'm going to say I'm crossing out reptilians. I'm going with flat Earth because I know a little bit more about it, but I will look in to reptilians and I'll let you know if I've changed my mind. So for right now, I'm taking out reptilians and I will keep flat Earth.
Ooh, I think that's a first timer thing on this bracket for everybody that's done it.
Only because there has been a couple of times when listening to like little blurbs and documentaries and stuff that something made me go, "Oh, that is strange." But
And
I don't know enough about reptilians other than, headlines or, I haven't looked into it. So,
as my one co-host Scott used to say in our other show all the time, Hillary Clinton is reptilian. So
I could see that, but,
I could see I could see a lot of politicians being reptilians. I honestly could, but I don't like to name names because this is I try to stay
we try to
neutral on.
steer clear of politics.
Yeah, on the show, yes. I
Yes.
will. I will gladly guest an show that does politics and tell you how I feel. But
Right.
on my show, I try to avoid them.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let's see who is probably going to eliminate Flat Earth in the next round. Because the next
Okay.
matchup is two more. Okay, Joe. In my mind, two more believable ones at least. You got MK
Oh
Ultra
yeah.
versus
Mm.
Men in Black.
All right. MK Ultra. I'm sure people understand it. I did look it up and I realized I did know what it was. I didn't know it first, but I did realize. Again, human experiments between 53 and 73, 100% I believe in. Used to try to harness the power of mind control. Again, I believe in it. CIA conducted these experiments in 80 institutions, university. I think that's all been, I didn't even know it was a conspiracy theory. I thought this was fact. I thought we all knew this happened.
There are government documents that basically say it did happen, but the conspiracy part of it is basically how deep did it go? How far did it go?
Yeah.
Were they really able to do a lot of things they were trying to do? And a lot of people believe they were. I mean,
Oh,
it's
I think so.
this this is the conspiracy that Stranger Things was solely, like, mainly based off of. They
Mhm.
threw Montauk Project stuff in there as well, but it's mainly based off MK Ultra projects.
Right, right.
And
That's why I said it kinda crossed because
and
this
plus
is what I
and,
knew about.
and plus MK Ultra is also the reason that they believe the government invented acid.
Yep.
And the reason the government invented LSD, and the reason they distributed it to the people because they
Mhm,
wanted to see what happened to the general populace when they gave this out.
mhm.
So Charles Manson gets thrown there too a lot, but we won't go into that.
It's all in the same kind of thing. And of course, they say you said there's government documents. I've heard that, almost all the evidence is destroyed or lost as everything is. It's amazing they can't keep track of a piece of paper, isn't it?
Well, I
Uh,
mean, a lot of people have uploaded some of it online. It's available. The Freedom Information Act made it have to be available. So,
mhm. Yeah, but I'm sure
because
there's a lot that isn't.
I'm sure there's a lot that's blocked out, but yeah,
Alright, and what was the other one? Men in Black?
yes, the ever famous Men in Black. And no, we're not talking the dazzling Will Smith in the movies.
No, 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 no. We're talking about the guys who arrive after you've reported a UFO or you've seen some sort of extraterrestrial activity going on, and they come up and they harass you and they interrogate you and try to threaten you to keep quiet. And maybe you
Supposedly,
disappear, maybe you don't.
there are, I mean, yeah, there are also stories of them literally driving people insane, them offing people for knowing things,
Mhm,
and scientists especially when they figure things out.
mhm.
And there's also stories of them being active to this day, but they're not Men in Black anymore. Now these days they're known as khaki men because if you see men
Like from
if you see
State
men
Farm?
if you see men in all black show up nowadays, everybody knows Men in Black term. So
Right,
they
right,
got to be a little more conspicuous. So they
right.
like to dress like a soccer dad in just khaki shorts and a Hawaiian shirt.
Exactly, we gotta blend.
Exactly.
Alright, so this one isn't fair because I believe in both. I believe they're both real. I don't think there's any, you know, question about it. Ugh. I guess because I'm saying MK Ultra is 100% real. I think it's debunked. I think that is actually something that happened. Men in Black, there's still an air of mystery about it. So for that, I'll keep Men in Black and get rid of MK Ultra because MK Ultra to me is debunked.
Oh, well, glad to hear it. And because I do love Men in Black. And hi, Glenda. Thank you for watching, as always. And this next one, this next one is, I gotta emphasize that some of these things we know for sure happened.
Right.
The conspiracy is about how they happened, so
Mhm.
or why they happened. But the next matchup is Bigfoot versus the MLK assassination.
All right. I mean, we've all heard of Bigfoot forever. I hate as much as I love it. I don't know if I'd even call it, I suppose it's a conspiracy theory,
I
realistically.
debated.
Yeah.
It was on the list. It was on the list of conspiracies I pulled for this, and way back when, and I debated putting it on here even because I do believe in Bigfoot wholeheartedly, 150%. I've heard enough proof. I've talked to enough people who have seen it, and I have seen footprints around Massachusetts that had me questioning things for a little bit. So I I mean, but both these things to me, that's why I actually like this matchup because both these things I believe, are 100% proven at this point.
Well,
But
to me, conspiracy theory would be something like Montauk Project or Denver Airport, where they're trying to hide something. To me, Bigfoot is no different than an extraterrestrial. So I don't think it's conspiracy theory. It's whether or not you believe they exist or they don't exist, or if they've
well,
been here or not.
why is the government hiding them? That's the question.
Oh well, I don't know.
That's the question. That's why is
Yeah,
the government hiding them and not admitting they exist?
right. Well, yeah, I suppose. Listen, I almost had a thing here. Um, I don't know. I feel like questioning the existence, or yeah, I mean, it's no different than the Bigfoot versus MLK assassination. Now, I don't believe that. Okay, well, I won't continue with the list, but James Earl Ray was not the real assassin. Was it the government? I 100%. Most of the people who died then, I think the government took care of them one way or the other.
Yeah.
Uh,
You try to change the status quo too much, and the government's going to make sure it doesn't happen. But
yeah, and that was really popular through those years that suddenly these crazed assassins were taking care of them, Um, because I don't really see Bigfoot as a conspiracy theory. I see that in a little bit different list. So I'm going to take out Bigfoot and I'll keep the MLK assassination just because I don't consider it a conspiracy theory.
I think that, I mean, it's definitely a first on this show, almost. I think because most people, I don't know, most
On
people
a
like are
different
just like,
list I would probably keep Bigfoot, just
uh,
not with conspiracy theories. It's not what I consider a conspiracy theory. You're right.
Bigfoot
I
is
know
a
what you're
Bigfoot is a big winner usually on. He's usually in the top four of the cryptid bracket for that reason. But
cryptids,
as
cryptids,
yeah,
yes. Cryptids, he'd be right up there, but I don't feel like it's a to me, it's not quite a conspiracy theory.
when the government starts putting up signs in national parks saying "Do not feed Bigfoot," I mean, it's kind of like just admit it. Just freaking come out with a news article, a newscast saying,
Well,
"Yes, this creature's been here since the beginning of before we were, and we know it's here."
right. Well, it's no different than UFOs and and extraterrestrials and so forth. They're coming out with it slowly, slowly, slowly.
When they're
But
trying when they're trying
I just
when they're
feel
trying to
like
take your eyes off something, yeah.
right, exactly, when they want to divert your attention. So, but when it comes to a conspiracy theory, like the government was against MLK, and they set it all up and had someone else shoot them, or they shot him and they pinned it on James Earl Ray. That's more what I consider a conspiracy theory. So, I'm gonna go with MLK.
Yeah. All right, and that means MLK is gonna have an interesting matchup in the next round, but we'll see who he's gonna face because these next two are kind of tricky because it's Area 51
Woo!
versus the idea of an Antarctica secret base.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Another pain. Okay. Area 51. Yeah, that totally exists. And I think it's totally used for testing alien technology and hiding aliens. And now, do I believe that the fake moon landing was filmed there? That was something that I looked up. Um, Maybe.
I
Why
don't
not?
think I don't think it was filmed there. But well, okay, we'll get to
We'll
the
get to
moon
that.
later. I
Yeah.
have whole theories on the moon, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And there are actually two conspiracies about the moon in this bracket, so that's a great thing. But it's about which one you believe. But
I know. What one you believe more, really? Um,
yeah.
well, we did an episode on Roswell, episode 49. So that was a
Oh,
fun one to do. And I visited Roswell this past summer.
oh, it's on my bucket list.
No, it was cute. It was cute. They definitely hype up the whole thing, but
Oh, but
I definitely believe Roswell occurred, and I definitely believe they were hiding them, and they found the four bodies, and I think all that exists. So I definitely believe in Area 41, and I think it's exactly what we think it's for, and that's why it's
51, but yeah,
what I say.
41.
You know what I meant.
I did.
Um, I definitely believe wholeheartedly Area 51 is exactly what we all think it is, and more. Now, the Antarctica secret base. This one has me kerflunkled. Do I think Hitler had a secret base there? No, I don't think Hitler was there. Now, the U.S. government
Honestly,
there?
that's never a name that came up with it. That's never a name I ever came up with the Antarctica secret base thing. I
Oh,
never thought it
really?
was. I never thought it was like a. Okay, well, yes, I know that there's been talk of, oh yeah, the Nazis had hidden base in Antarctica. No,
No.
no, they didn't. They didn't need to. They're all South America for that, for God's sake.
Exactly.
But
How are they going to get down to Antarctica? I mean,
they could
logistically,
have
come on. They could have,
submarines,
but
submarines. But yeah,
okay, but that was. I'm gonna
U-boats.
say
But I
maybe
mean,
not. If they did, good for
but
them. But
the idea of the Antarctica hidden base is more that it's a international hidden base for all
right,
governments to use, and that they are. I mean, it ties into the idea also that Antarctica. I mean, I don't know how much of a comic book person you are, but
no, but
the idea that Antarctica may be a savage land type of place where once you get past the ice barrier, it's a whole nother world of like a jungle almost in
yes,
Antarctica.
I saw that. Yeah, and that there's the secret. Well, we're gonna get into Hollow Earth at another point here, but that they have the passage leading into
Yes,
the Hollow Earth,
they
and
they tie in together in some ways.
yeah, and that that they say it's all guarded by military, which is supposedly against the Antarctica Treaty. So it's kind of a. Do you believe in the pyramids over there too? I remember hearing about the pyramids a while back.
I could believe that there are. I mean, I never looked too much into it, but I could believe there are certain structures there that have been there since before humans were
Mhm.
around, since before Antarctica was actually frozen. So I
Right.
could believe it, but I mean, it's there's a lot to Antarctica that in rumor and in legend and conspiracy that is debatable. There's a lot of it that's believable, and there's a lot of it that I mean, it's just there's a reason the public's not allowed to go there.
Exactly.
There's a reason you get shot if you set foot on there. So I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but I guarantee it's something with knowing our world.
Yes. So there is, I mean, there's definitely something about that. And now shoot. I wish you didn't pair these two up. Uh
These were all put together by a random generator. I did not make any of these matchups actually.
that famous quote. You know what? I'm going to take out Area 51 and why you're going to say. You're like, "Oh, because to me it's been debunked." I think everyone believes in Area 51 for what it is. I think there's very few people that would go against Area 51 as being a conspiracy theory, meaning that there's much question about it. You
it's
see what I'm saying?
it's yeah, I mean there's the whole thing they say now that Area 51 is not even the real area anymore. Now there's an Area 52 that's actually hidden and no one knows where it is. And
Probably.
and the fact that I used to have a neighbor who he worked for the government in aeronautics, and he used to travel all the time. And he told me one night during a power outage while we were outside grilling and drinking some beers,
Mhm.
he's telling me about his job. He's like, yeah, he's like, I've been to some places in the desert that people know a certain name for, but I can't say exist. But
Yeah.
he's like, I've been there.
Yeah. We were in Las Vegas and we were gonna take a ride out there, but we were in the middle of a heat wave and didn't want the car to die. So no,
Yeah, not a
so
place,
I'm
not
gonna
a place you want your car to die.
no,
No.
no. So I'm going to take it out because I think it's been debunked, and I think if it's been debunked, it's not a theory anymore. It's not conspiracy theory anymore. It's kind of factish.
Yeah,
So
I got.
I'll keep in Antarctica secret base.
Trust me, I never would be upset that someone wanted to keep Antarctica secret base in there a lot. I never would get mad about that. But this next one is an interesting matchup, always, because it's two very different things. But
Oh,
it's the idea of Freemasons versus the idea of sea monsters slash living dinosaurs.
all right. Well, I didn't even look into sea monsters and living dinosaurs because I assumed that we were talking about very large sea creatures and very large
Well,
reptile kind of things.
yeah, I mean, sea monsters are sea monsters. Everybody knows what they are, and
Mhm.
Loch Ness being the most famous, of course, among many others, and among around the United States. There's lake monsters as well and river monsters, but not just the show, but there's actual river monsters. But the idea of living dinosaurs, I mean, there's Mokalium Kembe in Africa is the most famous case. that supposedly still exists to this day. And
Okay.
there's also uh, in Peru, I believe, a tribe in the jungle that worships velociraptor-like creatures that based on what they draw.
Oh,
And there is, I mean, just in, there's creatures all around the world that have been seen in jungles that are reminiscent of what we call dinosaurs and are not no one can. And also, I mean, thunderbirds, pterodactyls
right,
that have
right.
been seen flying over the American Southwest.
Yes.
So
Yep. um. Okay. Well, the Freemasons, episode 45 on Today We Laughed and Learned. We covered the Freemasons. So, it is the world's most well-known secret society, but from what we understood from our episode is that stonemasons basically way back, they are the ones who used to build all the ornate Gothic cathedrals. And to protect themselves and their pay rate, not just have some slob come in and say they know how to do it, basically like a union.
yep,
Um, they created the Freemasons. Now, yes, um, this was there were 3 levels of it was they created a guild, a society. Yeah, they had secret handshakes and secret this and secret that, but it's basically just so originally formed just so they would protect their job and they would get uh and the buildings would stand without toppling over because they hired some schlub and stuff like that. Now it's changed over the years, and because they don't let just anybody in, people believe that they have their own religion, that they worship Satan, that they have all these secret rituals, that they're communists. We actually had a guest on one day. He was actually a Freemason also. And from what he was able to tell us, he was going to come back on. And unfortunately, he got into a car accident and died. He was going to come out and talk about the Freemasons. But
conspiracy there, right there. I'm telling you, that's a conspiracy.
now that I said that out loud, I'm like, oh my God, that's awful. But he was going to come back on and talk about the Freemasons. And but he basically they're a charity organization for the most part these days, according to him. So to me,
I
that's
I can believe that to some degree until you get to the highest of ranks, and then I don't know what I believe about them because
I think I think there
it's
was a
been
period of
present for God's
time.
sakes.
I think there was a period of time when perhaps things went awry in there. From what it began, I think there may have been some power struggles and stuff like that, and people, thinking the better than the highest of people were getting in there. And I think it's come back down. I think it did like the slope. I myself think the Freemasons are just at this point just a organization that works basically for charity at
Well,
this point.
I will say this: my wife's brother was given a scholarship by Freemasons, and
Hmm.
for college,
Hmm.
he had to go to their building
Hmm.
for a ceremony, and he wouldn't really talk about what because they wanted them to join, of course, because
Hmm. Oh
if
yeah.
they're gonna give you a scholarship, they want you to join.
Hmm.
He wouldn't talk about what happened there or what was said to him,
Hmm.
and he was always very secretive and guarding about it. And I think he was honestly scared to say what happened there.
I do know at one point there was, like I said, I think it's one of these. There was a point when there was some talk of like, threatening people because people were trying to sneak in there and find out their secrets and stuff like that. And they have all these ceremonies and um but I don't think they're part of the Illuminati. I don't think I don't think
I I mean, I don't know. I
I don't know.
honestly I haven't deep dove the Freemasons in a long, long, long time since I was like in high school, and
Mm.
I don't.
There's
I
no I
think
mean, you might be surprised, but as much information is out there, of course, there's chunks missing. You're not supposed to find things out. They don't want anyone to know about them, but I just feel like they've I think they're mystery. I think they've had an interesting history, but I don't know if I'd keep them in the conspiracy theory loop. Not for
I I mean, just the fact that they honestly could be running the world and no one would know it. That's the reason I keep them in because the fact that they could be secretly run. Because I mean, presidents have been Freemasons. There's
well,
been
yeah.
high rank senators, congressmen. Everything has been. All of them, a lot of them have been Freemasons. I mean, that movie in the late '90s, Skull and Bones, kind of was
Oh, I
like
never
a
seen.
hit at it's a good movie, but it's kind of a hit at Freemasons and other groups like that. It's about secret societies and that forming because you join these societies in college, and
Right, right.
they usually watch your career and see when you can help.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's interesting. It's I mean, these societies are mysterious for a reason, and that's why they're conspiracies because
mhm.
no one really knows, like the
Yeah, I
deepest
guess you're
levels,
right.
what happens.
Yeah, like I said, it's really funny that you said that because I didn't even put I mean, he died in a tragic car accident. I don't think there was a conspiracy there, but it certainly sounded like it the
I
minute I said it.
I sincerely
I
doubt
sincerely do
that
not think that it was
I
1000%.
sincerely doubt they offed off a guy that wanted to be on a podcast and talk about being a Freemason and try and make him sound better even. Like, I highly doubt that, but I had to throw it out there. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "That
Yeah,
sounds like something out of a movie."
I'm like, I've
Like,
never put that sentence together like that, and that's terrible. Oh my god.
but
You know what? You
y
convinced me. I'm gonna keep that in. You're right. The Freemasons, you're right, because it is a lot of high-ranking people that go in there, and they have over the years. You're right. So we're
and I
taking out
mean,
sea
who
monsters,
and
and
I
I
mean,
believe there's sea monsters and dinosaurs anywhere.
there are. I think it's
Yeah.
almost science at this point, but more than
Mm.
conspiracy, but and I mean, Freemasons, who didn't get interested in them when they watched Homer Simpson join the Stonemasons and one of the original episodes of The Simpsons back in the day?
I know. Or or what about the Flintstones and the Water Buffalo Lodge? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, I don't know, that to me was more of a, American Legion type thing, but
True.
that's more
Okay.
about that's more about sitting around drinking,
Oh, okay.
but
So we're gonna keep in Freemasons and take out sea monsters.
which means you are going to get to now take on excuse me, the final matchup in this side of round one, and this one, it's about what you believe, but it's Spygate versus the idea of the Mount Rushmore hidden chamber for all my Richie Rich fans out there.
Okay. Well, fun fact, I thought Spygate at first could have been the 2007 New England Patriots accused of videotaping the other coaches during the games, but I assumed it was not.
It was not. No, it was. That
Okay,
was just
so it
assholes
wasn't
being
Tom Brady and
assholes.
Belichick. So I'm assuming you're talking about the Donald Trump and the Obama administration.
It was. Yeah, it was. I mean, Spygate was. Oh, Hillary Clinton centric from all my readings in it. It was Hillary Clinton centric, but
Yeah,
her name and Obama's name always came up as the two main people. But
yeah. I mean, I didn't look too much into it, and even back then, I wasn't because I'm over here. I don't hear
yeah,
as much news about it as we hear different news than when you guys hear, but
I know. I would think you'd hear the real news.
I think we do get a little bit more of the real news, but we don't get the extent. Like it doesn't go on and on and on and on. Like you ever turn on, the local news, and it runs from in Massachusetts, it runs from 5 a.m. until like noon. And it's the same three
Yeah,
stories the whole time. You're like, what the hell?
Boston 25 News. Yep, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Do I think that he was yeah, I think he was total I don't think is that really conspiracy theory? Or is just
Um.
fact?
Well, the idea behind Spygate is that Hillary Clinton and Obama and a lot of the American government at that time had a lot of people killed in the ongoing wars in the Middle East
Oh, yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
to make certain things happen. They had a lot of people accidentally die,
Right.
and I
Well, that
mean, yeah, I mean it was on the list I had. I didn't want to put it in here really because it kind of dives into politics more than I like to. But I mean, it was
Mhm.
also it's a conspiracy, and it's been talked
Right.
about in other paranormal podcasts before. So I'm like, all right, I'm not alone talking about this. So it's not like I'm the only person talking about it.
I don't know. I'm still curious whether or not Belichick and Brady were spying on the other teams, but
Well, I mean,
Of
I'm sure. I think every sports team does that. I think that's a
course they
thing that's been
do.
going on for 50 years in America.
Why
But
wouldn't you? Why
I mean,
wouldn't
yeah,
you?
you want to know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Now Mount Rushmore secret hidden chamber, I'm a little confused on because I thought that was debunked. There is a tunnel. There there is a chamber. It's behind Lincoln's head. It's documented on like even national on the national parks website.
Yeah, I mean, the conspiracy is more based around what it was used for originally.
Okay, well, the story around it I know is that Borglum, he wanted to go from his studio up 800 steps to this tunnel, and the tunnel was going to lead to a Hall of Records kind of a thing. And he wanted because he wanted to keep things like the Constitution and the Declaration, like he wanted it just to be a great American icon thing, and he wanted to also have the story of who these four people were, so thousands of years from now they would know who the four men that he chiseled into the mountain were. And he just basically wanted a museum is how I took it. And unfortunately he started digging the tunnel, but he died and World War II happened, so they couldn't finish it, which
Yeah.
was fine. It's there, but and I guess in what was it, 98, they actually made, like, they didn't continue to the Great Hall. They did decide to make like a little repository, and they put a bunch of granite pillars inside of it and telling the story of Mount Rushmore. So I would say I'd say at
See,
one
but
point in time it was a conspiracy theory. I
well, I
mean,
mean,
if that's what they
98,
did, if that's what is
nine
in there, but
exactly. I mean, it's 98, which
Mhm.
ties back to the Clinton administration running things,
There you
and
go.
once again, Hillary Clinton started in things always. And
Mhm.
I mean, who knows what's really in there? I mean, I don't think any pedestrian can get up there and just see what's in there. So I
No,
don't
I
think.
can tell you because 'cause I've been there and you cannot get to the back of his head. But,
Well, that right
it's
there.
right, I would say more of the conspiracy theory would be Spygate over the Mount Rushmore. I feel like that's
Oh
just,
God.
I think there's definitely more conspiracy to me, the hidden chamber is more of curiosity at this point. I don't think they would put anything absolutely, uh it's too, I don't know, maybe they would, but I don't know. I think we basically know what's in there. I don't think there's anything real secretive back
I
there.
mean, I've also heard the idea that it's a launch spot for WMDs, and that's the control room. But
It sounds like an episode of Ben 10. I'm sorry.
I mean, I would say X Files, but yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, it is something out of television, but
I think
in a way.
sure,
But
it could be. I just don't, I myself do not see that that is what it is,
I
but
mean, how iconic would it be if
I serious
the first WMD launched was out of Washington's head? I mean, I'm
because
sorry,
it's shooting out
but
of Lincoln's eyes.
oh, that you can't get more American than that unless there's a bald eagle riding on it. But
Exactly. Um,
I mean, I don't know. I like both of those conspiracies to me are kind of
they're both
they were on the list. They were on the list. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't feel like I have
I'll
much.
say there's probably at this point more mystery around Spygate than there is around Mount Rushmore. So let's keep Spygate in and get rid of Mount Rushmore.
All right, and that's gonna bring you to
This
the other
next
side.
this
Oh yeah,
next matchup sucks.
it's going to. Yeah, the next matchup is a organization matchup, and it's QAnon versus Illuminati, triangles and all.
Oh, this is a tough one.
It
Um,
is. I mean, it's. I know less about QAnon than I do about the Illuminati, but I've read up on both these groups in the past, and they both are
y-
mysterious in their own ways.
I know Illuminati actually. I mean, I like Bill from Gravity Falls. As you can see, I don't mind my cartoons. That's the Illuminati I like. This one Illuminati. The little bit that I read up on it, I think I've just always heard about it more than I actually read into it. It really sounds a lot similar to the Freemasons, which I believe it was actually based on the Freemasons. Uh, it was a group that was concocted in what 1776 or something like that in Bavaria,
Yep.
and he just wanted a new way to illuminate people because he didn't believe in what the church was teaching. So that sounds. And then of course QAnon. I mean, there's spreaders of conspiracy theories. So would
Yeah, I mean,
So would they be a conspiracy theory if the spreaders of I mean,
and QAnon also has been supposed to be behind some terrorist attacks, from what I've read. But
I didn't hear that one. I mean, I know Pizzagate, but uh,
oh, we'll be getting to that. We'll be getting to
right,
that.
but from what I know, they're behind it. Um,
And once again, Hillary Clinton gets thrown in. But yes.
oh yes, of course. Conspiracy theory between these two. I don't know. Would QAnon be a conspiracy theory if they are known for spreading conspiracy theory? I feel like they wouldn't. That wouldn't.
Wouldn't that make them the ultimate conspiracy theory?
I know, but would it? Because they're the ones. But it's what's the conspiracy theory on them as a group, as you know. Whereas Illuminati is more of a mystery.
Oh, I
I mean,
mean, they
QAnon I know
Illuminati.
is QAnon is a mystery too, but I think it's less of a like Illuminati's been around and had a surge, you know. And this is a
Yep.
tough one. I don't know where each of these belong on the list, you know. I think God, it seems like QAnon should stay, even though I'm going veering towards Illuminati. Ugh. What do you think?
I mean, I always in this one would just go with Illuminati because it's more
Well, it feels it's
recognizable. But QAnon is mysterious in their own way, but I feel like I feel like QAnon has been more proven to be real.
that's
I
it.
mean,
That's what I exactly like. It's debunked, like because it's so modern anyway. What did it come up in 97, 2017? I mean, it's very modern.
yeah.
I think. I think I'm gonna go with Illuminati and knock out QAnon because I think, like you
Uh,
said, I think they're debunked theoretically. You know,
yeah, somewhat, but
they're
well,
they're they're groups spreading what other people versus the
yeah.
actual versus the actual thing in question. They are supposedly the group spreading it. So let's stick with Illuminati.
Which means they'll be facing one of these two in the next round. These two are we're going from stuff that we can possibly be proven to be real to stuff that is a little more questionable.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be the Matrix slash simulation theory versus the fake moon landing conspiracy.
God damn it. Oh.
What's going on, Nigel? Thank you for watching.
I never believed in Matrix until probably past few years, so it just feels like we're living in a simulation. Fake moon
There have been
landing.
there have been stories I've heard of people who seem to kind of glitch out of the
Yeah,
Matrix.
yeah.
Glitch in the Matrix stories kind of make me question it.
I know, I know. That's honestly, I hear those more and more and more. It's like is everybody just liars or is this like, people calling with their stories? But then they say the UFOs don't exist, and I'm sure we saw them, and I believe they
Hmm.
exist. It just feels like more and more and more as technology advances and everything. It feels like we go backward. Like it's
It does.
questionable. It's questionable some days. Fake
Technology can
moon,
hide more.
right? But yet, on the flip side, it feels like it's showing more.
That too. I mean, it's a double edged sword,
Yeah. Fake moon
but
landing.
yeah.
I my only I always believed that there was a good possibility it was faked for the simple the only simply put is JFK, promised something during his tenure, he didn't, so he was going to get a man on the moon and also this against the Russians. We were a space race against the Russians. They looked like they were going to take off. Granted they kept failing, but we had to do something to look good.
Yep.
And I have a hard time believing that this day and age, we can't get a picture at an ATM of a bank robber or if somebody's stealing something from the ATM in a clear photo. And yet we were able to see them landing on the moon on everybody's TV.
Hmm.
So the only thing that ever gets me on the fake moon landing is the amount of people that were involved. That's the only thing that always makes me question if it was real or not. Otherwise, I would say 100% it was a fake
Well,
thing.
here's my thing on this. Because there are two moon conspiracies in this bracket, as I mentioned earlier, and I think they tie into each other, and they both are realistic in my mind. Because the fake moon landing, I think there's a reason it had to be faked, and I think that I think we did go to the moon, but it's not the one it's not when they shot it. They went to the moon before that, and I think they realized they can't shoot video there, so they set up a studio. I actually had a guest on my show a while back who his father supposedly worked at the movie studio where they shot the fake moon landing,
Okay.
and so I
Did Stanley
then
Kubrick film it?
a little before his time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but or I mean I'm not sure exactly when Kubrick was. I've seen a lot of his movies, but I'm not exactly sure how long he was
Yeah,
filming for. But
that's one of the theories.
I'll get into it more when we get to the other one. But I think I don't know. In this one, I tend to go more with simulation theory personally, but that's me.
No, I like I feel like the fake moon landing is like the ultimate conspiracy theory. Like everybody's it's the big one everybody talks about. Like, you have either those 100% it faked, 100% is real. The matrix simulation theory gets me because I think this is becoming more of an interest to people. Like
Ooh,
people
all
are,
right. Canadian Spirit actually has a good question on this.
yeah.
He says his problem with this is the DoD can't stop their secret documents being leaked on Discord, but the secret has been kept safe. How?
Which one, the moon landing or the simulation?
I'm assuming the moon landing,
The
but
moon landing.
it can be kept safe because it's not digital.
Well,
It's
it's so
not
long ago.
digitized.
It's
It
also
was
so
so
long
long ago.
ago. It was all on paper. And what do you do with paper? You burn it. I mean,
I mean, this was when my parents were kids, for God's sakes, that the moon landing supposedly happened. So
yeah.
it's a long time ago.
Yeah, I think this is where the government had us back then because everything was printed. Everything was typed out. Everything, if they didn't want to type it out, they didn't put it on the paper. Or if they put it on
And
the paper, then they lost it. Roswell,
and
all
then
the Roswell papers were lost. All the
I mean, the memo on the bottom, burn after
yeah,
reading, always.
yep. Yeah. So I think that's very easy to hide it back then. Now, if they anything more current, with the advent of public computers, I think it's harder to hide those things, and that's why people leak things and everything. It's much easier now. Mm. Okay, I'm going to say I do the moon landing just to me is like the ultimate conspiracy theory, but I'm going with what is my goal is to end with which one is most believable. What conspiracy theory I think is more believable. So because I don't know enough about the matrix and simulation theory, although I think as time goes on, and like I said, I've had some questions lately, and like you said, seeing people talk about glitches and everything else, I still have too many questions about it. So in staying with my theme of which one is more believable, I'm going to keep in fake moon landing
Ooh,
and take out the matrix because of the what I'm supposed to get down to, which is one that I most find believable. And right now I find the fake moon landing more believable right
all
now.
right. Well, oh, that means the round two matchup's gonna be interesting for that one. But the next matchup is going to be global warming versus, we mentioned it earlier, Pizzagate.
Well, this is just going to be easy, and I believe in global warming. That's no theory. That's no conspiracy theory to me. It's for me. I think. Ew.
I don't believe in global warming. I think
No,
it's
you
just
don't.
the Earth's weather patterns go through cycles. It's not global warming. It's just the Earth being the Earth.
Which is true, but it wouldn't it be warming? It's possible. It's the Earth is warming.
But it's also freezing at the same time, and it gets colder. I mean,
Yeah.
we hit record lows all the time now.
What I see is okay.
In my opinion, I mean,
No,
I
you put up a good, you're putting up a good argument. I understand, and I have heard that before, but the question is this: is it because the government is screwing with the weather so much? I believe in, some of these
oh
things, like,
we'll be getting to that
so
later. But
I know, but so have they warmed up? are they creating? What is creating this chaotic weather patterns? You know,
Nature. I think it's just nature. I mean, we went through a freaking ice age, and before that, the Earth got extremely hot before the ice age. So,
and I'll tell
and
you, the
after.
in the late 1800s, the weather was wild too. Uh,
Exactly. I think we're in a pattern. I mean, yeah, we may have affected a little bit with our factories and whatnot during the 1900s, 1800s, and we might have depleted the ozone to some degree, but I don't think it's really gone. I think it's still there. I think it has to kind of regenerate at some point. So I don't know. I'm not
so
enough
you
of
think,
a meteorologist to know these things,
yeah,
but
I know. And then our other choice is Pizzagate. So basically,
Pizzagate, which funny
well, you,
enough was introduced to me by Macaulay Culkin.
oh really?
On
I,
his podcast, Bunny Ears, he was talking about conspiracy theories. I think with Seth Green actually, and they brought up Pizzagate, and that's the
I,
first time I ever heard of it. And it wasn't even on the list. I had to throw it in here because of him talking about it, and it got me interested in it.
that's okay. My kids told me about it. I thought it was because they had told me about the Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy theory.
Oh
Have you
man,
heard this one?
I've heard of Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy theory. Yeah,
So I thought it was the Chuck E. Cheese one.
actually, the Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy theory is what Five Nights at Freddy's is based on.
Oh,
But
is it? I never saw it. The
yeah,
kids saw it. I didn't. Now, look at all these damn movies now I have to watch. Okay, so global warming. Now you got me thinking. I thought for sure I was going with Pizzagate. Now I don't like you. Uh,
you sound like my wife.
I
But I mean,
can't,
Pizzagate. I don't know.
it's I
Pizzagate.
don't know.
It's one of those things where, well, since news has broke a few years ago about somebody else in our bracket we're gonna talk about later, it kind of makes Pizzagate seem more believable.
Oh, right, and it definitely. It just I think right. So has it been debunked? But I don't think it's been debunked. I think there'll still be, hmm, which is more believable. I'm gonna say because I'm going with like I said, which what I find to be more believable. I'm going with global warming than Pizzagate.
I mean, the way I always did when we did this bracket originally as a group of people, because
Mhm.
any bracket in the show was done originally as a group thing. I don't release them for 1-on-1 or 2-on-1s or any of that until I do them as a group because I like to get the group aspect out first so that people can say like, all right, this is what a group of people believe.
Yeah.
Let's see what then I can say. Let's see what individuals believe or what a couple people believe. But and when I was in those, I always went for more. My theory was always I'm going for the ones that make life a little more interesting. I'm going for the ones that make the world a little more interesting, and
Yeah.
so I like to go the more. I like to go more the outlandish ones because it's in my mind. That's the way I think. That's the way
It,
I think. The
which
simple
is
ones are
funny
like,
because
eh.
as this is going on, I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I hadn't gone for the one that was more believable. Like, try to go for the one that's more interesting. But I said I'm going for the one that I find to be most believable, so I have to stick with that. So otherwise, I'm gonna
Yeah,
screw up the
people.
whole thing. So
This is why I tell people to go the way they want to go. I don't.
yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna.
just got
I'm
to
not gonna
remember
influence
what
you
I
in any
chose.
way.
I just got to
I will
remember what I
glad.
chose to go.
I will gladly offer my opinions up without a problem, but I will never influence people on which way to go with
Oh no.
purposefully.
All
But
right.
now comes to one of my favorite conspiracies in this matchup, but it's Hollow Earth versus NWO New World Order, and I'm not talking Hulk Hogan.
All right. Hollow Earth. Now, do we think there's an entire civilization living in the middle of
That's
our
only
Earth?
part. That's only part of it. I mean, anybody who watches my show on regular knows how much I tie Hollow Earth into a lot of different things. But it could explain most of the paranormal world, honestly. It could explain most of the paranormal world.
It could.
Minus ghosts and spirits. But pretty much every other part of it could explain to some degree. It would explain a lot of the conspiracies on this bracket on not how these things could be. I
Hmm.
mean, Hollow Earth is, and the new King Kong Godzilla movie world kind of opened it up a little more and made more people see that it could possibly be true. But it. I've been believing it since before that, and I will say, if you look at a map of disappearances in the United States and the map of the cave systems overlapping each other, it kind of ties things in.
Well, I do know that I tried to dig to China when I was like in, 3rd grade or something, couldn't quite get there, and I never hit a hollow earth, but recess was only, a half hour long. So
And if you grew up around this area, then you probably hit just a shell of rock that couldn't get past because there's a.
exactly. So
I know
what
if I
was
try to
it?
dig, I know if I try to plant things in my yard for freak's sake, I hit a freaking shale or granite, whatever the hell it is, and it just
Yeah,
you can't
shale.
get past it. You can't get
Yep.
past it.
Let's see. Okay. Versus New World Order,
Which
which
is similar to Illuminati, but not exactly the same, supposedly.
right. I I think over Hollow Earth, I definitely believe in New World Order over Hollow Earth. Probably more or less because I don't know enough about Hollow Earth. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean,
but I think with the advent of COVID and everything else, I believe in New World Order more than
yeah, I can see that, and I mean, the only thing I will say for Hollow Earth is Native Americans supposedly used to go on these long spirit quests through cavern systems,
Mhm.
and they are the only ones to ever traverse fully through the cavern systems in the United States. No one in modern times has ever gone through a cavern system in the United States and actually came out the other end.
And came out the other
Most
side
time,
now.
most time they either come back or they just disappear completely when they try to
Yeah.
nowadays.
Well,
Which
I mean,
Canadian Spirit said, though, many indigenous cultures have legends of strange people living underground, including
Dogman.
dogmen
Yep.
and Bigfoot. So
Mhm.
it would explain a lot of cryptids. I've
It
even
would.
had a paranormal investigator tell me tales of dragons coming out of mines in Pennsylvania. So
Oh, I haven't heard that one, but no, I'm not saying Hollow Earth is crazy at all, but I just 100% believe New World Order exists in some
I mean
form or
it.
another.
Yeah. I mean your reasoning is 100% sound. I get it,
Mm.
and I mean I'm not saying that Journey to the Center of the Earth was anywhere near a accurate, true
Right,
movie,
an accurate movie.
but I mean, could there be a society living under the earth? I don't know. I've heard a lot of tales about different aspects of it and different ways it could have happened, including extraterrestrials being involved. So
Mhm.
who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, no, makes sense.
I'm not one to say, but I do not have the proof of it. But
Right, but don't discard.
it resonates. It resonates in
Mhm.
my mind. That's for damn sure. But
Yep.
speaking of hollow things, the next matchup is Hollow Moon
Would this
versus
have
False History.
now, false history, quick question. I wasn't sure what you meant by this. Was it false flags or like false history, like Mandela effect kind
Well,
of false history?
false history. No, well, the conspiracy of false history is basically the idea that we are taught history wrong, that
Correct. Okay.
they leave things out of it or they alter it completely.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you were going with, not false flag. But yes, they do. Uh, in my opinion.
Like the fact that we were taught in the '90s and previous that Columbus was the first to discover America.
Right. But
Yeah,
yeah. And what did I see online? Somebody was complaining, which I was not taught this. There was a big controversy online saying, not big, sorry, it was a comment, it wasn't big. Somebody saying, but wait a minute, I learned there were 52. She was an older woman. Learned there were 52 states, and we were taught 52 states, and other people were agreeing, but yet nobody could actually name the other. I think they were talking about Guam and Puerto Rico, and they just got confused in their things. But no, I didn't know if you meant like some of the Mandela effects.
no, I did not include Mandela effect in here. I don't think did I? I don't think I did. But Mandela effects are a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
I literally have contemplated the idea of doing a whole bracket of Mandela effects
Yeah, they're
because
fun.
it easily could be done, but
Oh yeah.
I haven't gotten around to it yet. I haven't found a list big enough yet. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Okay, so false history. Do I think they change history to make it? I mean, I know they do it here in the history books in Greece. So I think yes, they history is Poor. Did you ever see The King and I?
I
Way back with
have, yeah.
well, I
Yeah,
think way back.
I've seen versions of it. I don't know if I saw that version,
Well,
but
the
I've seen ver
okay, well, the original Yul Brynner version, I remember. I mean, I haven't seen it in decades, but I remember one thing that stuck out was he got mad at the teacher that came in because she pulled down the map and it showed Siam as this giant, like basically as big as America, like it was the
yeah.
biggest country. And she told the kids that that map was wrong, and they showed Siam on the.
Yeah.
She showed Siam on the map like that, and he got all upset because yeah, don't tell them that there's, this is Siam. It's the biggest country. It's the best country in the world, and that kind of thing.
Well, it goes back to the old saying, history is written by the winners.
Yeah. There you go. So, okay. So false history. Do I believe? Yes, I think that's very believable. Hollow moon. This goes back to your comments about the fake moon landing, is that you think they landed up there on a moon. And
Hollow moon is a theory based on the fact that the moon is hollow,
right. Like
like a
like
Death
it makes
Star,
a bell sound. Is this
like a like a Death Star, basically. Like it
yes.
is one of the biggest theories of it is that it is a extraterrestrial spaceship that either is still in use or
Mhm.
was abandoned many, many centuries ago.
Right, right. Um it would explain a lot. It would explain a lot as huh. Okay, yes, I'm not saying again, no. Do I what I think is most believable is false history.
Ooh. Which, I mean, yeah, it's basically been proven at this point.
Oh, right. I think it, like I said, when I'm coming down to I think that yes, that's very believable.
Well, this next matchup is a complete government matchup because
Mm-hmm.
it's the COVID-19 slash vaccinations against chemtrail poisoning.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I have been taken off YouTube for talking about this on a previous bracket, but oh well.
Yeah. It's very hard. You're not allowed, don't you know you're not I'm sure everything is lies if they're just taking down videos and everything, right? Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
All right. Unfortunately, I believe in both. Chemtrails is huge. I do believe in chemtrails. I do believe in the COVID vaccine being a complete fudge up. All right. I'm not going to talk too much so you don't get taken down. I'm just going to say this is that I'm keeping COVID in because I think it is as big of a controversy as you're going to get right now. So I'm keeping it with the times. The chemtrails was definitely a huge thing, and I do believe in it. And yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna go. We're just gonna move right on, but I'm going COVID-19.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
as someone who's had it 6 or 7 times now, yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. But oh, all right. It's time for the first play-in match of the night. Decide which one of these actually makes it in a round one. And it's a specific person matchup.
Okay.
It's Jeffrey Epstein's death versus the JFK assassination. It's a
Yeah.
battle of the J's.
It is a battle of J's. Okay. Well, yeah.
Which the Jeffrey Epstein death is the one that I said before ties into Pizzagate, making it more
Yeah.
believable. But
Yes, and I do believe. I mean, literally both of these. I mean, I don't know why they're I don't know why they're what do you call it? Conspiracy theories at this point. The JFK one obviously has been up for debate forever. I do not
you know
believe he
the magic bullet.
right. Um, yeah. Okay, the JFK assassination, the conspiracy theory to me is obviously the government took care of him. And Jeffrey Epstein, he definitely did not kill himself. I don't think there's a soul on this planet that thinks he killed himself. um, and like you said, it ties into Pizzagate and everything else. He had a very long, like his list was longer than P. Diddy's, right?
Yes.
Uh, yes. And quite a lot of ugly things happening there. So
Which I'm pretty sure P Diddy was in the flight list, but
probably. um yeah, yeah.
which amazingly that flight list seems to not be a thing that's talked about anymore on social
You notice
media, and I
that?
don't
You notice that just kind of disappeared?
disappeared. I mean, I saw part of it once, and then it kind of just disappeared out of everywhere.
Few names on there and the rest is coming out later and never really came out. Must have missed
And
it
what
on my
and the funniest thing is, a couple years before that became a thing, I saw an episode. My mom happened to watch an episode of Dr. Phil, and I
Mhm,
happened to walk through the room, and it was a girl talking about how she was on I forget if she actually said island, but she was
mhm.
held captive in a place where older men did horrible things with young children. And she even talked about the head of the organization killing a baby that wouldn't stop crying by just stabbing its neck. And like it stuck in my that episode of Dr. Phil. I've heard a lot of them because my mom loved that show when it was on.
I'm
And
sorry.
I never really watched it too much, but I've heard a lot of them through
Yep.
just
Yeah, yeah.
being in the
The
next
TV
room.
on. Yep.
And that one always stuck out to me. And then when the Jeffrey Epstein stuff all started to break, all of a sudden that came flooding back in my mind like, wait a minute. I'm like, why have I heard something similar like this before? And
Mhm.
I think Dr. Phil actually kind of broke that one open.
He may have. I bet you can't find it in reruns though.
I actually haven't tried it. I don't know the woman's name, and there's so many episodes out there. I don't know if I'd be able to find it even, but
Yeah.
it's I don't remember the woman's name by any means, but and she said that men would sit around naked at this place and with kids in their laps. And I don't know. It's creepy.
Gosh.
It's horrible.
Ugh.
As a father, it irritates
Yep.
me and pisses me
How
off to
as a
no degree.
human. Yeah.
I mean, as a father especially, but as a
Yeah.
human being, completely, it just corrupts everything I believe in this world. And but maybe Dr. Phil actually broke something open.
He
Maybe
may
that's why
have.
he's
Yeah.
not. Maybe that's why partly why he's no longer on the air. But who knows?
Who knows? All right. Well, that's gross and disgusting. So,
Yeah,
when it comes
it
to
is.
conspiracy theories, I feel like JFK is bigger than Jeffrey Epstein in the conspiracy theory. I think there's a huge story behind it, and I think we all have an idea as to what it is. But in history, conspiracy theories, JFK, I think, was more the mystery because nobody, uh,
And
I feel like everybody has an idea about.
Canadian Spirit even says, like, I used to doubt the JFK assassination conspiracy, but with the releases of documents over the last decade, it's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
convincing the CIA had him whacked.
right, exactly. I feel like that was a bigger conspiracy theory. I feel like Jeffrey Epstein, we all kind of know. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like this. Like we want the story, we want the story behind it, but we all know he was a dirtbag and that he got offed. You know?
And it's funny because I never heard his name before he got arrested. I never heard his name in
No,
my life.
no, I hadn't
And he's
either.
supposed to
But
be one of the richest guys in the world, and you never hear his name until he gets
yeah,
arrested.
yeah, yeah.
Who did he
And that,
piss off? That's my question. Who did he piss off to finally
oh,
let
he
himself get
pissed.
nabbed?
It's just like I'll be surprised if Pete Diddy makes it in the in jail if he doesn't accidentally have an accident in there because uh
The rap
I mean
Illuminati. Yep.
definitely with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean that was we got to shut him up. We can't let this go to trial and stuff. This is
Yep.
so I'm going to say no to Jeffrey Epstein just because I think we all kind of know. JFK was truly the original, not the original, but conspiracy theory. Like what happened? I mean, he had several bullet wounds and they covered them up and pretended there was one. I mean,
Yep. And I mean, I'm pretty sure even the guy who assassinated, I'm pretty sure that they say assassinated, I'm pretty sure wrote like a manifesto saying like I did not do this. Like
he did.
I was framed.
Yeah, he did. He was framed, and there's a mafia thing behind it, but I think that's why Jack Ruby came in and shot. Isn't it amazing that he was shot and killed before he was able to say anything? He was screaming,
Exactly.
"I'm just a patsy" or something like that as he was being hauled away, and oops, another crazy person shot him. There was a lot of that going on. So yeah, no, I'm gonna go with JFK.
which means JFK goes into the first round and gets to go against predictive programming.
Okay. Oh, we didn't do predictive programming, huh?
Nah, I had to figure out who was going to face it first.
Okay. All right. So what are we doing now?
Oh, it's JFK versus predictive programming.
Oh, okay. So predictive. Oh, I'm not even. I mean, predictive programming. I mean, I think it's neat. It is questionable, some of these things, but like I mean, okay, The Simpsons. We all know the Simpson things.
Yes.
Star Trek. Okay, handheld communication device and stuff like that. Even the Titanic book that came out was really kind of. It's an interesting theory, I'll put it that way. It definitely holds some merit, but I think between the two, when it comes to conspiracy theories, that I find most believable is still the JFK assassination.
Yeah, I mean, predictive programming is not one of those ones that was on the list, and I was just like, okay. I'm like, it's not something that gets brought up too much, so I'll definitely play with it and see what people think.
Yeah, I don't think I call it conspiracy theory. I think I mean, it could be. I don't know. I think it's neat. I think you can definitely make things up to kind of match and everything. And like, I think there was one for South Park. They mentioned
Yep.
Ebola, but Ebola had been around for a while, I think. So and there was another one that they mentioned COVID before COVID came out, but as somebody's name. It was like you could make the matches if you wanted to, I think.
Yeah.
But when it comes to conspiracy theories, I feel like JFK is still the bigger one.
I mean, I will say Simpsons did nail a lot of things that just.
Oh, I know.
I mean, they predicted Donald Trump becoming president 10 years before it ever happened. 20 years before it happened.
We did an episode on the Simpsons one. Yeah, it was really neat. Some of the things that they came up with.
It is. I mean, it really is. But all right. Well, that means you get your second and last play-in matchup to determine. Basically, you're going to be making the last matchup in round one with this.
Okay.
But it's the Georgia Guidestones versus 9/11, which is kind of interesting because we're only 11 days away from that date. So,
okay, the Georgia Guidestones I really didn't know much about, so I don't know how big of a conspiracy theory it was. It was these 6 giant slabs, I guess, that just appeared.
monoliths, yeah.
Yeah, and
then got destroyed or disappeared.
Somebody put I read that they got blown up and then they took the rest out. Who knows, But it became a tourist attraction or something like that, and then they felt that it was when you read it, it was like a guide to humanity and population control, and some thought it was Satanism, something like that.
It's Satanism, Illuminati has been tied to it, QAnon's been tied to it. A lot of people have been tied to it. I mean, it basically. But where did they come from? That's the biggest question: is where the hell did these just pop out from? I mean, extraterrestrials have been brought up for that reason because who else could construct something like that overnight? But
that was the crazy thing is they didn't have. They don't know where they came from. They just appeared. How do you do that with nobody seeing you?
Exactly. I mean, that's the crazy part, and the fact they were taken down as fast as they appeared, which is, I'm guessing, 2 groups against each other, basically.
Yeah. Yep. How dare you put that up?
I don't know.
Yeah. But you have it against 9/11. And therefore.
Randomly generated, but yes.
Right. Well, the list has it against 9/11, so I can, although it's very questionable as how those giant slabs got there and how they got removed so quickly and where are they now. It's 9/11. And that is another ultimate conspiracy theory that holds a lot of weight as to, I believe, government cover-up. So, I am somebody who believes that we did it to ourselves, and so I'm going with 9/11.
Yeah, they were implosions, not explosions. I'm a huge believer in that. But
I was also over here when they were reporting on it, and I remember them running a show. Oh, actually, no, I was over there. But over here, they had run a show long before the U.S. had done it, questioning everything.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Why did they come down? How did that building come down? It didn't even get hit by a plane. How did they implode? How did they fall so beautifully? Where's Where's the airplane at Pentagon? Where's there's just way too much. I'm sorry. So conspiracy theory, I'm going with 9/11 because yeah,
And that is why my whole generation does not trust the government.
right.
Just saying. For
Yep.
all those of us who were in school when that happened, we don't trust the government because of that.
Yep.
Because
Nope.
that day was infamous for many reasons, and we immediately started asking questions the next day, like, none of this makes any fucking sense.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not just a plain black and white terrorist attack. No way
No.
in hell. It's not. It's not Pearl Harbor. It's not
No.
Pearl Harbor.
And jet fuel doesn't burn that much, and these buildings don't come down like that. They just don't come down like that, and they both fell. And like we said, another random building fell. And where's all the debris? Where's all the? It made no sense. It made no sense as time went on, and you took off your glasses and looked, and you said, "Oh, okay, no,
Yep.
nope,
But
we did it ourselves."
But hats off to Steve Buscemi for running to New York to help
Yes.
firefighters.
Yep.
I will say that always.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean,
many-
and to everybody who had to suffer through all that, and all the people who perished in it, it was just the whole thing is just awful. And the fact that you can go on forever. The fact that we did this to ourselves, and that people think, and that people to this day think that we didn't, is just amazing to me.
And the fact that I grew up in New York, 2 hours away from New York City when that happened.
No way.
Yeah, I was 2 hours north.
Oh, I can tell you what, I was heading to work. I still remember this. I was heading to work in the morning, and I stopped and I was listening to Howard Stern. And I got out at a convenience store to get a coffee, talked to the woman for a few minutes, and got back in the car. And Howard Stern wasn't making sense. I'm driving to work, and I'm listening to him. I'm like, is he running an old show or something? What is this? Because he's going, oh my God, we're under attack. What's going on here? It suddenly, in the time that I parked and went in for my coffee and came out, the first plane hit.
Yep.
And it took me like a good 5 minutes of driving to realize actually something was going on in New York. And I always remember just listening to Howard Stern, the panic in his voice the whole time.
And if Howard Stern's panic, people, there's panic.
Yes.
Because Howard Stern hangs out with some of my favorite musicians, and he is a crazy motherfucker. But if he's actually worried about something,
he was concerned.
Yeah, if Howard Stern is concerned, you should be concerned.
Yes.
But love Howard Stern. But that means the final matchup in round one, and I guarantee it gets faster after this because we were a voice our opinions on all these. But the final one is 9/11 versus another one we mentioned below earlier: government weather control devices.
Yeah. Okay. They love cloud seeding. I think it's like legal in 9 states. They screw with the weather all the time, which is, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think I just don't see it as being, they probably hit it or whatever, but I'll be honest, I can't. It's still going to be 9/11. So let's just keep going. Damn it. Ooh. Yes, the government screws with our weather, but they screwed with the Twin Towers too. No.
Well, yes, and I actually, even being a New Yorker, I never got a chance to actually go see those before, which, I mean, kind of irks me to this day, but at the same time, I'm like, they were buildings. What the hell am I going to see?
Well, I had gone up, I think I was in 8th grade, we went to the World Trade Center, and
okay.
And we went up to the top, but I remember I used to take my nephews, we would go every now and then to New York just to go for the day,
Yeah, of course.
For a night.
It's always a fun day.
Yeah. And I remember the last time we had gone, my youngest nephew, he wanted to go up the World Trade Center, and we were going to, but it was a holiday weekend, and the line was so long.
Mm-hmm.
And my infamous last words were, next time we'll come, we'll go up it when it's not so busy. They'll always be here.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's my fault, folks.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think I've ever even been to the top. I've never even been to the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building, for God's sake. So
no,
I was in New York.
That's where you're from. Well, you're not going to go.
No, I mean, I went to New York City all the time though. But I always want to go to the Museum of Natural History. That's always where I wanted to go because I was a nerd. I liked science. I like science and history, so I wanted to go to the museum. But actually, I got to take my kids there one day. It's still one of the greatest places in the world to go. But but that means you can start off round 2 of
Okay.
An hour and a half in, we're round 2. Gotta love it.
Oh,
I love
Jesus.
that this is actually. I love that this is actually lasting
Sorry.
because. Oh no,
Sorry.
please! I love. It makes actual for content instead of just people picking names. But we're going back to the beginning because,
Yep.
and at this point, you made these matchups, not me. So
Mhm.
thou shalt suffer thy own fate. And it's going to be Denver Airport versus Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay. I'm going for what I believe is what I believe is the most believable conspiracy theory. So, Denver Airport versus Skinwalker Ranch. You're gonna probably hate me. I'm going with I 100% believe there's crap going on at Skinwalker Ranch, but it's almost more mysterious. I'm going with Denver Airport.
I will never hate anybody for making choices. Okay, no, I take that back. The only time I ever hate anybody for making choices in these brackets, it's when Spaceballs wins one. That's the only time I ever hate
I heard that
anybody.
one.
Everybody knows my hatred for that damn movie. So, and I even rewatched it because Harley fucking picked it for another show, and I had to watch it. And
Yeah.
no,
Still
it's
not a
still
lover.
shit.
Fair enough.
It's still. My wife even walked through the room and like, why are you watching a movie that makes fun of one of your favorite things in the world? I'm like, because I have to. And I haven't seen it in probably 20 years, so I watched
God,
it
I
again,
haven't
and
seen that forever.
it's still shit. It's still shit. I love Mel Brooks, but God, that movie's shit. But moving on. Your next matchup is Flat Earth versus Men in Black, and I'm really hoping the one I think is gonna die dies.
Flat Earth is dying. I'm keeping Men in Black.
Thank you, God. I swear to God, Flat Earth has never made it past round 2 in this bracket, and I am so happy for that. But
I'm keeping the record going.
ooh, which means the next matchup's gonna be relatable. But relatable for next round. But
Okay.
then your next matchup is the Martin Luther King Jr. assassination versus Antarctica secret base. Two things that are not related in the slightest.
Not in the slightest. All right.
Oh, or could they be? I doubt it, but
All right. Which one? I'm going with which one I think is more believable. Oh, I've got dead air. We don't want dead air. The one that I think is most conspiracy theory most believable. I really want to go Antarctica, but I feel like I have to go MLK.
it's your choice at the end of the day.
I know. I'm going again. That's why I keep telling myself what I'm going for, which is the most what in the end what I would find most what people are saying and what I find to be most real would be the MLK assassination. The Antarctic would take long. All right, I'm going MLK. Don't change my mind.
Not gonna try to even. Not the way I would have gone, but it's not my bracket.
I didn't want to, but I have to go that way.
Which means your final matchup to see who that's going to face in the quarterfinals in this side, the final matchup in this side round 2, is Freemasons versus Spygate, and what could be a very related topic. Who's to say that Freemasons are not behind Spygate?
I know. You're right.
As a group of Freemasons show up at my door, probably, but you know. What'd you say about us?
Obama. I feel like because the Freemasons, much as I think I know about it, and I believe, I mean, it can be. Yeah. I'm going Freemasons because I feel like it's more of a conspiracy theory I can believe in because of the history.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So. Spygate just seems like politicians being politicians.
You know, it'd be much easier if I chose like comedy movies.
Seriously.
Seriously, this is very difficult. Okay.
Oh. Actually, I do have several horror comedy brackets, but we didn't do those. We didn't get to those as a group yet. So once we get to those as a group, we'll be getting to them. They'll be
Much
available.
easier.
Though there are plenty of horror movie brackets available. If anyone's into those, feel free to reach out to me. But the other side of round two is going to start off with another group against something they could have been involved in. Illuminati versus fake moon landing.
Fudge sakes. The Illuminati is so much like the Freemasons. How do you not take it in? But I really feel like the fake moon landing is so.
But that's honestly why I like them on opposite sides of the bracket, because they can never face each other unless they actually go to the finals.
I know.
Which has never happened. Which has never happened. It's never happened in the final matchup for those two to face each other. Something else always takes it. But
okay. Well, all right. For the simple reason that the Freemasons Illuminati are pretty similar, I'll knock out the Illuminati, although I really don't want to, but I really feel like the fake moon landing is more of a in the goal. They're both equal. I'm going fake moon landing.
Which means and now another of the same types of matchups, another group versus something they could have been involved in. It's global warming versus the NWO.
Oh, Jesus.
And I think this is actually the first time that all three groups actually made it to round two even.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, I'm gonna go with New World Order because I think that one truly is a one that I can. Global warming, I believe. No, I'm going with New World Order. I'm not gonna sit here and that's what I'm going with.
Your first option is usually your right choice option. At least that's what they teach us. But speaking of teaching us things, it's oh god, the fact these are going against each other is kind of funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's false history versus COVID-19/vaccinations.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait to see how they teach COVID-19 in 20 years. I really can't, but
I know. Well, I 100% believe that false history definitely occurs. But the COVID vaccine, to me, is more of a controversy. So I'm going COVID-19 just because I'm so angry at it.
Which means your final matchup in round
Oh, two. God.
More government intrigue.
This is not fair.
The JFK assassination versus 9/11.
No. Oh, no. What do I go with? If anyone's listening, tell me what one to go with because oh, God.
We got 10 people watching, but they're people on Twitter. I don't think you realize, or X, I'm sorry. People on X, which is where all 10 people are from, because they're all fellow podcasters, I'm pretty sure, mostly. You can comment. No. They show up actually now. They've been showing up for a couple months. They've been showing up for a couple months now. So feel free to chime in what you think, because audience interaction in these type of things is always the interesting part.
I'm so stuck. They're both such huge conspiracy theories. Oh no.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. It's funny they're down to the part where usually the top ranked things in any bracket are. You know, even though there is no ranking for these technically.
Well, it's not no. But both of those belong in the top spot in the end. Oh no.
Well, the Band-Aid must be pulled, and whoever wins is going to be facing something that's going to make it even harder. So, you know.
I don't think so. I think this is the ultimate tough one. I think this is the two that I would have the hardest with. Because JFK assassination, 100%, we've been, since, how many years have we been?
50 now, at least? I mean, 50, I think, or maybe even more.
That everyone's been wondering what really happened. And 9/11, what's funny is that people don't talk about 9/11 nearly as much. Oh, God. This is really hard. All right. So what one do I believe in? I believe each one 100%. All right. Well, in this case, I guess, God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to have to knock out JFK because I think they are hiding more from 9/11 because it's newer.
Of course, they're already more of it, and
And
most people that were involved in the JFK assassination are now probably dead. So,
right. But I think that's a more simple way of looking. JFK is easier to explain.
yeah,
Oh, this crushes me. I thought he was going to be my top spot. I'm going to say 9/11. I think it's a huge conspiracy theory. I think it's the most believable, but I think it's still being hidden. So it's still like I almost feel like JFK is almost debunked at this point. So
yes,
I will go with 9/11.
which means it's down to 8 conspiracy folks as the quarterfinals get started, and it's gonna get started off by actually, I'm pretty sure every matchup you have here is gonna be relatable in some way, but it's Denver Airport versus Men in Black.
Um, I
Which
think
it's
they're both very
ironic enough.
believable.
It's
Right, they're
ironic
all
enough that we brought up
intertwined.
Men in Black. We brought
Right.
up Men in Black when we were talking about Denver Airport too. That's the funny thing. But
I know, huh? Um, I think they're both very believable. I think uh I think I'm gonna go Men in Black. It's just it's very believable, but there's just a little bit more. I feel like it's I don't know. I guess it's just good. I don't know. I don't know why. Screw it. I don't know why. I'm going Men in Black. How's that for my
yeah,
answer? I just don't know.
that that actually lines up perfectly with conspiracies. Is we don't know, but that's why they're conspiracies. But
Yeah.
the other matchup in this side of the quarterfinals is going to get started off with we're going to go with MLK assassination versus Freemasons. Could they have been related? Who knows?
Who's to say? Another tough one. I think my basis for the finale isn't working out. MLK versus Freemasons. I'm all right. I guess my final thought is the most believable with the bigger controversy around it, so I'll go Freemasons.
God. Freemasons it is. Oof. I can't say I'm disappointed in that one, but either way.
This is totally not going how I thought it was going. So see, it's a surprise. Okay.
Exactly. It makes it more interesting that way. And that means the other side of the quarterfinals is going to get started off by the fake moon landing versus the NWO.
Oh, that sucks.
It does.
Oh. Oh. All right. Well, I know I can't flip flopping here, but if one that's most popular would be. I do believe this. I'll go fake moon landing.
Ooh. And that means well, to decide who fake moon landing is going to face in the semifinals, your final matchup in the quarterfinals, and possibly the hardest one, COVID-19 / vaccinations versus 9/11. It's a 21st century matchup, folks.
Oh, I did not think this was going to be hard.
It's the two most modern conspiracies on this whole thing, pretty much. Well,
I know.
minus one, the planes that got already eliminated, but
Fake moon, I believe 100. I believe. Oh, God's sakes. The biggest conspiracy theory that I think is real. All right. I can't decide what to pick. That's what's happening. I guess when I'm trying to pick what is the most believable, God, I really believe the COVID-19 vaccine. But I think the most. Oh, I feel like a loser saying the fake Moon landing. But if I'm going for the most believable,
I mean,
God.
I don't know. And both of these have a lot of mystery behind them, and they're both newer, so we don't know as much because things haven't been revealed just yet, if they
Yeah,
ever will
well,
be. But
right, and the COVID-19 one is very new. So,
and still
and the
ongoing
fact,
to this day.
oh God, yes.
Hell, I may have the new strain of it right now. I don't freaking know. I've been sick for a couple of weeks. I've had a cold for a couple of weeks. And I don't know if it's the new strain or not because it did knock me in my ass for a day or two.
Yeah, God only knows what they put out there. You know what? I think with that thought, the fact that COVID-19 vaccine is still a lot coming out behind it, I mean, I do 100% believe it's crap. But I will go with fake moon landing, knock out COVID-19 because there's still more to come.
Well, that's the funny thing. It was COVID versus 9/11. You voted out fake
Oh,
moon
you
landing
told me.
last
Oh,
round.
oh, that's right. Oh God, COVID-19 versus 9/11. Okay, well, I'll still knock out COVID-19 versus 9/11 because there's really no choice in this. But 9/11, I think, has been around longer, so it's been a bigger. I mean, it's a huge controversy, the COVID-19 vaccine, but conspiracy theory, Jesus.
Yep. Which, and as per my hiatus, everybody knows what that's. Most of my listeners know what that's about. So I will say that I did prove scientifically that the COVID-19 vaccinations do not make you infertile. I proved that.
Okay, well, congratulations.
I honestly almost thought they did for a hot second, but I proved they did not. So
Well, I don't think I think there's several different batches that went out. So
possibly,
as they were,
possibly, I could see that.
there
I
was
could see
several.
that.
So that was, when you depends when you got, where you got, which batch you got, things like that. I think was a
Maybe
lot.
it's possible. They
I
may have
think,
just been testing out different things and seeing
yeah.
what stuck.
And plus, you couldn't just put everything out all at once.
And I was forced to get in for my job, so I had no choice. But
Mm. Yeah,
which is
which is a
as
whole nother.
unfair as that was, because I was
Mhm.
against it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But I only got the first two. I also didn't get the boosters, so that might be why. But
Well, that's
maybe
that's true too. Because I think a lot would, like. Can you imagine if they hear you? Everybody has to take this. Everything else, and everyone starts with a million problems and dying and everything else from that. You can't. It had to
nope,
be a
exactly.
rollout.
But
So
that
okay, yeah.
means it's time to go to the semifinals. You narrowed it down to 4, and in the first side,
Don't love them.
It's Men in Black versus Freemasons.
All right. Which one is more believable? All right. At this point, I'm going with whichever controversy I believe is the most believable. Um, just basis on the people that have been in the Freemasons and everything, I will go Freemasons.
Which means that Freemasons moves into the finals, which we'll see what's going to face in a second because the other
I'm
side of the
so angry at
semifinals,
this list.
the other side of the semifinals is fake moon landing versus 9/11. Which okay, I was wrong. You didn't vote out fake moon landing. You moved it forward. Just
I
the
just
previous
bumped it
match.
ahead. um,
Two conspiracies, 50 years apart,
yeah. All right.
at least.
At least. All right.
Well, actually,
I
maybe
guess
40. And keep in mind, whoever wins this one will be facing Freemasons in the final.
yeah. The problem is what these two are, because the fake moon landing, like I said, I think is one of the biggest controversies in the world. But I think I I grew up and totally believed in the 9/11. Like, then I just watched that one unfold. So I might have to take a personal take on this and get rid of the fake moon landing. I think I just need to go with 9/11 because I grew up with this.
I can trust me. I can see why. It's what got
For
me into conspiracy theories.
you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, the moon landing, I looking into it and everything else, it kind of makes sense to me and everything. And yes, it is the most believable. I think 9/11 is very believable, but just so unbelievable. You know what I'm like, yeah, that
Which
we did this, you know?
that means your third and fourth place matchup is going to be, well, because we'll give you a second breather until you get to the finals. The third and
Uh-huh.
fourth place matchup will be Men in Black versus the fake moon landing. Two things that could easily be related.
They could very easily. All right. All right, then I'll go with fake moon landing and get rid of Men in Black because the fake moon landing needs its spot.
Well, as a famous man who doesn't like you to talk about his wife once said, there go the Men in Black. But that means it is that dreaded time.
I
The
don't think it's gonna be dreaded.
finals. Well, we'll see. The finals are going to be Freemasons versus 9/11.
Wow. I think the Freemasons, all the people in the secret society now, do I believe they weren't communists or worship the devil or anything like that. They had their own thing, their own society and everything else. And I do believe that there was a lot going on in there, but I don't think, depends on what time in history it was. I don't think it was all bad. But I guess 9/11 for me is the winner. Not
Which
at all what I
actually,
thought it was going to be.
I could be wrong, but I think it's actually the first time that 9/11 has taken the win on this. So, yeah,
If it means
actually,
anything, I'm surprised that's where I really thought it was going to be either JFK or the moon landing. I thought it was going to be one of those, but as 9/11
well,
just kept eating away at me.
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if actually any of these Final Four made it to the Final Four for the first time. But I'd have to go back and look through all of them, and I ain't doing that this second because
No.
who wants to sit here and watch me do that? But that means that Kris is Final Four, and this is in fourth place, Men in Black. In third place, the fake moon landing. In second place, Freemasons. And in first place, 9/11.
This is why
Which,
brackets are horrible because that is not at all how I would have normally thought that was going to go.
that's why they're great, because it makes you
Yeah.
think and you don't realize even what is really going to happen until it happens.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was surprised over it. It's okay.
I'm glad you had fun doing it. And at this point, I will now give you a second to let my listeners tell them about your podcast a little and tell them about what's going on with it, because I know there are some changes going on.
There are. I'm actually in the middle of a lot going on. I'm originally from the Today We Laughed and Learned podcast. We ran for about 2 years. Unfortunately, my co-host had to bow out. And so that was probably in like January, but you still go back and listen to all the episodes. We have things on the Freemasons, like I said, we've got the Simpsons, we've got Mandela Effect, we've got everything under the sun, really. We really had a lot of fun doing it, but unfortunately she can't do it anymore. So now I'm in works with a friend of yours, Ben, who's been on a lot of your podcasts out there. We are working on a new podcast together. It's probably going to start taping in about 2 weeks. So we will let everybody know when we have some episodes out. And other than that, I think that's about it for right now.
Yes, and for those who don't know, if you want to see more of Ben, his episode of Maniacal Music Musings will be releasing in 2 or 3 weeks, possibly. So feel free to come listen to him talk about music and music goals, I should say, because he made us listen to a 2-hour and 12-minute long musical soundtrack. And I think my co-host was kind of hoping someone would Epstein him while having to listen to that. But we got through it.
Everything makes the world go round, you know?
Exactly. And we will talk about that on hopefully this Tuesday we can finish recording that episode so we can release it, because it's going to be a good one. The first 40 minutes we recorded already were good, and the final part of it's going to be amazing as well when we actually talk about the music.
I'm sure, because Ben is a lot of fun, and
he is.
Sure he kept the chatter going.
He is, and if he I told him, like, he said he might be coming this way with his show. He was doing one man for a while, and I'm
Yep.
like, if you do, I better get some tickets because I want to go see it.
Yep.
But
Yep. He's working hard on that. He's got a new musical and he's working very hard at getting it out for the world to see. So it'll be
yep,
great.
I can't. I'd love to see it. It sounds amazing. But I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank you for this. Has been a fun 2 hours, and
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry if I jabbered
well,
too much. Sorry.
oh please, that's what these are for. And this will probably be two. This will probably be a 2 episode release, I imagine. But we'll see how I feel like doing it.
Okay.
And folks, what up, folks? You will find all Paranormal New Normal previous brackets and regular episodes anywhere you find podcasts. And if you don't know where to find me by now, goddamn shame. But check the outro; it's always there. If you're watching, check out what's going on the bottom of the screen. You'll see everything there. But I will be back tonight for an interview, I believe. So
Ooh,
until
busy.
then, have a good one. And hey, what a perfect soulmate! Haven't seen you on in a while, buddy. Glad to see you back. But come check me out tonight. I have to go do family things. So have a good one, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Jeremy.